Hey, this is Durward at the Aikido Virtual Dojo channel, and today we're going to explore something, discovering freedom. And what often happens is when we're in conflict, we feel like we're under pressure, we feel very constrained, we feel very limited. And so what happens when you feel attacked and you feel, like you can't get out of it? So we're going to discover or look at or explore one particular way in which you can discover freedom even under pressure, even under an attack. So let's move into it.
Let's start with a basic, simple exploration, which will actually show how much freedom we can find in our body or with ourselves when we are in a conflict situation and under pressure. We'll explore this using a very basic Aikido attack, which is the katate dori. Actually, I will ask Durward to grab me firmly so that I cannot move. And the natural tendency that people usually have, that we also have in the beginning or when we are surprised, is to focus on this pressure point, on this point of conflict. So actually, I'm receiving pressure here. I cannot move my hand, and then many people would start trying to focus on this point and release it, release the pressure, get away from the pressure, and to free up the wrist. So you can try this on your own with a partner. You can try, if you can release this grab, if you can free up yourself. Of course, there are some tricks you can use, but it's not the point of this exploration. The exploration is actually about realizing that even if a part of us has been taken, all the rest of us is still free. We are free to move, we are free to do anything we want. So Durward can hold on to my wrist as strong as he wants. He can do everything he wants, he can even use both hands, and I can still move around. As long as he's focusing on this part on my wrist and trying to get hold of my wrist, the rest of my body is free. So I can go underneath, I can come back, I can go around, give him a hug. As long as I don't fight the pressure which I'm receiving here. Okay, so this is an exercise you can also try on your side and just realize how free we are even under pressure. This is the first part of exploration.
Now for a next step, after discovering maybe a bit of freedom in the body, let's look at the other side. Okay? Place maybe where we don't necessarily normally think that we have a lot of freedom. So I'm going to ask Marcin to grab me in the same way that we had before, a katate dori. This is just a basic, simple, static grab that will help us explore this. So as we did before, we were not focusing just here on the particular point, but opening up to the body. But there's also the other side of it. There's also the other side of this point where the hand can move. And so we just forget about these places. But this here with the fingers, even though they don't seem very big, the fingers have a lot of expression in them. And when they start to move around a lot, even as hard as he wants to hold on, it becomes a little bit more difficult if he really wants to hold the grab, if he really wants to stay in contact. Now, he could also let go, knowing that, that it's not going to, it's a bit more difficult. But his goal really is to try and keep the attack going. So with that, it actually helps me because it makes a connection. And so with the fingers, oh my goodness, it's just like there's so many different areas that happen, and it starts to affect what happens to him. And I don't have to pull or push to use the fingers. The fingers in the hand just naturally are able to move around a lot. Okay? And it just creates this contact, this movement. Okay? So from here, if we continue after doing that kind of exploration, it becomes difficult for him to hold on after that. Okay? If we continue with this exploration then, and we add not only the body, but also the fingers, then this creates something incredible, this completely new sense of freedom. So I'm going to ask him to grab both. Now I'm really stuck. Okay, so if we stuck to body is free, the body is free, and the fingers and hands are free, then there's a lot more potential here. And I don't even have to just stand in front of him, but I can move around because the body is free. And I can start to have a little bit of momentum and move it around and connect into him or away or anything. Sorry. So there's a lot of freedom to discover, and you can practice this in so many different ways. Now, one thing to make note of here, what's interesting, just as a kind of a last thought, is that this is a physical way to practice the Aikido, having a grab and discovering your freedom in the body and the hand. But you think about the problems that you have in your life that feel so difficult when you get stuck inside of a problem. So one thing to imagine is, okay, you have one particular problem, but where is the freedom around that particular problem? So when we enlarge our perspective, or we pull back and we see the problem from a larger space, then there's a lot more freedom than what we usually think. So this is just something to think about in your Aikido practice.
If you like our video, give us a thumb up and share it with your friends. You can also subscribe to receive notifications about new videos being published. More information is available in the channel description as well as through the links section.